Education and Care Gaps in Tracheostomy Management, a multi-stakeholder survey. That is a survey the Global Tracheostomy Collaborative published on their website in the last few months. It's a long survey, and I've been dissecting this survey section by section over the last few videos here. We're finally reaching the end here. And today we'll talk about future directions. And then there will be one more last episode about conclusions. And then I have dissected the survey. My name is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareathome.com. I will also be linking in this written version of the blog post into the survey, so you can read it. And what I've been doing here is basically dissecting the survey and also offering solutions, because the survey doesn't really offer any solutions. We've identified these issues a long time ago, since we've been operating at intensive care at home since 2012. A lot of what's in the survey we're already doing, we have been doing successfully since 2012. And I believe we will continue to do it for a long time to come. So let's look at the section today, future direction. And you can also find previous videos about this survey on our blog post section at intensivecareathome.com. So let's look at future directions in the survey. Our findings highlight the need for enhanced educational resources and standardized training programs in tracheostomy care. Yeah, that's what we've been doing since 2012, because all of our nurses are critical care trained. That really is the gold standard, and that gold standard is also highlighted in the mechanical home ventilation guidelines, which are evidence-based, and you can find the evidence-based mechanical home ventilation guidelines on our website at intensivecareathome.com. The evidence-based mechanical home ventilation guidelines is a result of over 25 years of intensive care at home nursing in Germany and in Australia since 2012. So it's all proven in practice for decades now. So the survey continues. Developing simulation scenarios and readiness tools can better prepare healthcare professionals for emergencies and routine care, particularly in underserved communities. Yeah, again, it's not all about costs. It's really also about business models here. And some communities are underserved. It's more difficult in regional or remote areas, but it's still doable, because we've been doing that, again, for a long time now. So the survey continues. Pilot programs using high fidelity mannequins or interactive e-learning platforms can serve as practical starting points, focusing on critical skills such as suctioning, stoma care, and emergency management. Of course, this is what our education involves as well for our staff. But you can never train registered nurses that haven't worked in ICU, or let alone enrolled nurses or even support workers or LNPs on tracheostomy care without having worked in ICU. It's too dangerous, and people have died because of that model, especially in the community. These initiatives could be integrated into nursing and respiratory therapy curricula and evaluated for their impact. Innovative technologies like virtual reality and augmented reality hold promises for accelerating training and improving competency. Oh, absolutely. Technology will help to increase and improve skills. However, barriers such as high costs, infrastructure needs, and accessibility in low resource settings must be addressed. And accessibility in low resource settings or in remote settings can also be addressed by, once again, taking people out of hospital, which will reduce the cost in and of itself. And then the cost is usually lower, even in remote settings. So I don't buy the argument of high cost always, because the reality is, when patients are tracheostomy and ventilated patients in particular are occupying an ICU bed long term, that is spiraling costs out of control, right? So going back home, going back into the community usually brings costs down, and there's a business model in there. Now, I will say that sending patients home to a remote or regional area, yes, there could be a cost barrier, but again, where do people want to live? In the community or in hospitals? Also, the hospitals need to understand that, in order to free up their beds, they might have to pay for some of the care in the community, because by emptying their beds, there's more money coming in on the other side, because ICU beds in particular, will be occupied in no time. Then, scalable solutions, including partnerships with technology developers and pilot programs to evaluate cost effectiveness, will be essential to ensure equitable adoption. Again, it kind of makes me giggle because, what we've been doing here at Intensive Care at Home is we've been cutting the cost of an ICU bed by 50%. So, this survey talks about cost effectiveness without having actually solutions, whereas we've been having solutions here, like I said, since 2012. Short-term simulation-based approaches remain a practical foundation for future advancements. Finally, integrating artificial intelligence into education and clinical practice is an evolving opportunity, and equitable access must be prioritized to alleviate financial burdens on patients and caregivers. And lastly, that section says ensuring accessibility in underserved communities is critical to making these innovations broadly impactful. Yes, whilst I agree with that, the bottom line is if you don't have skilled staff in metropolitan, remote or regional areas, doesn't matter. The risk with the tracheostomy, if you have non-critical care nurses managing tracheostomies in the community, is death. And I have evidence for what I'm saying here. So I think the survey there is, again, missing the mark, not really understanding what's happening in the community in particular. Like I said, we have solutions for all of that. With our critical care trained workforce, because we have hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined at intensive care at home. Now, with intensive care at home, we are currently sending our ICU and critical care nurses into the home 24 hours a day. We are providing the following: home care services for ventilated adults and children with tracheostomies with critical care nurses 24 hours a day. A genuine alternative to a long-term stay in intensive care or long-term acute care, tracheostomy care for clients without ventilation, home care services for patients on non-invasive ventilation such as home BiPAP, home CPAP, home TPN, which is also known as IV nutrition, home IV potassium and home IV magnesium infusions, IV fluids and IV antibiotics. We are providing central line management, PICC line management, Hickman's line management, as well as port management at home. We're providing nasogastric tube and PEG tube management at home, the use of cough assist machines for our clients for airway clearance at home, palliative care services at home, as well as ventilator weaning at home. We're also sending our critical care nurses into the home for emergency department bypass services. We have done so successfully as part of the Western Sydney Local Area Health District, their In Touch program, saving approximately $2,000 per patient that we keep at home instead of them going to an emergency department. That also means we're in a position to cut the cost of an intensive care bed by around 50%. An intensive care bed costs between $5,000 to $6,000 per bed day. Our service costs between $2,500 to $3,000 per bed day, and we're freeing up the most sought after bed in the hospital, which is the ICU bed. Most importantly, we're improving the quality of life for patients and their families, which is a win-win situation for all stakeholders. Of course, quality of life is much improved surrounded by families and by a team of dedicated intensive care nurses in the home care setting instead of in an intensive care unit. With intensive care at home, we are currently operating all around Australia in all major capital cities as well as in all regional and rural areas. We work with NDIS clients all around Australia, TAC and WorkSafe in Victoria, Department of Veteran Affairs all around Australia. Our clients and we as a service provider have also received funding through public hospitals, private health funds, as well as departments of health. We are having policies and procedures for intensive care at home nursing, and we've built all the intellectual property for intensive care at home since 2012. No other provider in Australia has created more intellectual property when it comes to intensive care at home nursing than we have. This puts us in a position to employ hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined in the community. No other service provider in 2025 employs a higher skill level in the community than we do, which enables us to look after the highest acuity adults and children in the community in Australia safely. So if you're at home already and if you're watching this or you're stuck in an ICU long-term, or if you're going to hospital and ED all the time and you realize that you don't have the right level of support at home, or if you are stuck in an ICU, I'll give you a real-world example today how we can help you. One of our first clients when we first got started in 2012 was a client who was at home initially on a ventilator with a tracheostomy with a support worker model 24/7. Of course, support workers are not equipped to look after a client at home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy. That is dangerous and it's simply negligent. Having support workers looking after a client at home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy is like flying the airplane with a cabin crew instead of the pilot, because anyone on a ventilator with a tracheostomy is at very high risk of medical emergencies 24/7, or even at high risk of dying if they don't have a team of dedicated critical care nurses looking after them 24/7 at home. This is actually evidence-based and is documented in our mechanical home ventilation guidelines that you can find on our website at intensivecarehome.com. Think about it. In an intensive care unit in a hospital, you wouldn't have support workers looking after your critically ill loved one or after any critically ill patient on a ventilator with a tracheostomy. So why would anyone in their right mind do that in a home care environment in the community? So this client at the time found out about us eventually, and the ICU that he was basically living in also knew about us and eventually reached out to us. And we were proving our concept with this client very fast. When we worked with this particular client, we sent him critical care nurses 24 hours a day, and he never ever went back into ICU ever again as long as we were working with this client. We can do the same for you if you're not safe at home and help you with keeping you at home predictably. Otherwise, we would not be in business. Again, the same is applicable for those stuck in an ICU, similar to this case study that I've just given you. Or if you're going back to ED all the time, please reach out to us. We can help you with taking you through the right steps, including how to get funding with different funding bodies. This is also why we are providing NDIS support coordination. We have a team of NDIS support coordinators, and they have a wealth of knowledge. I've done an interview with Amanda Richards, one of our NDIS support coordinators, and I'll put a link to an interview with Amanda in the written version of this blog. We're also providing TAC case management and WorkSafe case management in Victoria with Lucy McCodder. If you're an NDIS support coordinator or a case manager from another organization watching this and you're looking for nursing care for your participants, please reach out to us as well. If you need more evidence for nursing care, we are also writing NDIS nursing assessments with legal nurse, critical care consulting nurses. If you are a critical care nurse and you're looking for a career change and you want to join a very progressive, dynamic, and high-performing team of critical care nurses in the community, we're employing hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined. You can join this high-performing team if you are a critical care nurse. If you are looking for a career change as a critical care nurse, we're currently hiring for jobs for critical care nurses in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, in Albury, Wodonga, in Bendigo, in Geelong, in Warragul, in Victoria. If you have worked in critical care nursing for a minimum of 2 years, pediatric ICU, ED, and you have already completed a postgraduate critical care nursing qualification, we will be delighted hearing from you. I do have a disclaimer though, because we are offering a tailor-made solution for our clients, which includes regular staff. Our clients also do want the same staff coming over and over again because they are so vulnerable and so special. That's why we need regular staff. So if you're looking for agency work where you can come and go, this will not be the right fit for you. We are looking for consistency and our clients are looking for consistency. So please only apply with us if you can give us regular and consistent availabilities for shifts and you're really keen on building solid relationships with us and with our clients. If you're an intensive care specialist or an ED specialist, we also want to hear from you. We're currently expanding our medical team as well. We can also help you eliminate your bed blocks in your ICU and in your ED for your long-term patients or for your regularly readmitting patients with our critical care nursing team at home. We're here to help you take the pressure off your ICU and ED beds, and in most cases, you won't even pay for it. Even if you do pay for it, it is so much more cost-effective than what you're paying for in ICU and ED, and you get the same level of care. And if you're a hospital executive watching this and you have bed blocks in your ICU, ED, and respiratory wards, or for home TPN, please reach out to us as well. We can help you eliminate your bed blocks very fast. If you're in the US and in the UK, and you're watching this and you need help, we want to hear from you as well. We can help you there privately with one-on-one consulting and with hiring nurses privately. Once again, our website is intensivecareathome.com. Call us on one of the numbers on the top of our website or simply send us an email to info@intensivecareathome.com. And if you like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families with intensive care at home and intensive care. Click the like button, click the notification bell, share this video with your friends and families, and comment below what you want to see next or what questions and insights you have from this video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareathome.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care for now.